Welcome to the Your Leadership Legacy podcast. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I'm so excited to bring you this next podcast dedicated to you high performers out there who want to reinvent yourself, reinvent your business, maybe your career, all of it. This podcast is all about being dedicated to transformation and being the best possible leader of yourself and others that you can be in order to create a legacy that lives on. Welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause. I am the founder and CEO of True You Teams. And here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I happen to have a dear friend on with us today, Carl Ivy. I've known Carl. Gosh, Carl, how long have we known each other?
20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. When I was in corporate, we worked at the same company. Carl is still working there. And Carl, I'd love for you to introduce yourself, and then I want to tell everyone how amazing you are. So tell us just a little bit about your background and what you got going on.
So Tina, thank you for having me on with you today. So everyone, I'm Carl Ivy. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I work for American Family Life Insurance Company in Madison. I've been there since 1994. My job is to work with our agents to help them in their pursuit of distributing life insurance to their customers.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what else you want me to tell you about.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. And so here's, like, anybody who's ever listened to any of the stuff that I've put out, you know that I watch social media a lot. I'm out there a lot, just building a business, right? Posting content and leadership stuff and all that good stuff. And I've known you for a long time. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, Carl. And then another day would come out and you'd be there again. And I'd be like, oh my God, Carl, what's going on? Because you were on fire. So I noticed that and we've talked and I know that other people have noticed that. So I wanted to have you on the show today so that you could kind of talk about the before and after, because from the outside looking in, what my experience of what's happened with you is that you found something where you were able to literally take your life back. Were you able to step into your full leadership and really make a difference, not only in your life, but in the lives of so many others. So talk to us a little bit about what that before and after look like.
So I wish now I had brought a before and after picture with me. I've got those. I just don't have it right at my fingertips. But
put it with the stuff.
So what you're I'll put it in the chat. Okay, I can do that. So Tina, what you're talking about that got me on social media was the way I had the ability to share with friends what I had found in a nutritional supplement, a formula called Thrive. And maybe some of the folks watching this have seen me talking about Thrive. But I never intended to be in the business of distributing Thrive to people. I never, ever wanted to do that. But what happened, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and I'm home working from home like everybody else and watching the mortality news on TV and starting to think for the first time in my life seriously about my mortality, because they were talking about the people who were not surviving COVID, and they were very much describing me, and it scared me. And so how often do we have to actually get scared and get our back against the wall before we take action we knew years ago we should have taken? So I decided to get myself in shape. I was pretty heavy leading up to the pandemic. And then when they sent us to work home, I gained more weight. I was just a shade under 300 pounds. Yeah, all of us, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I decided I needed to do something. So I made the commitment to eat right, to get good sleep, to live a healthy lifestyle like we all know how to live. And part of that is to get some physical activity and some movement. And I couldn't. I didn't have the will. Emotionally, I was drained. Physically, I was drained. I couldn't exercise. And so I started looking for supplements. And I found there's a lot of stuff online I didn't realize until I was looking and tried different things and never really got anywhere. But then I came across this product called Thrive. And there was a very compelling story written by somebody that is not a pitch person, just a normal person talking about the change it had made in her life. And so I decided to try it. And Tana, you and I have talked about my grandson, Cody, who lives with me. He came home at the second day after I was using this, and had commented about the difference in me. And he didn't know that I was doing anything. And I didn't really pay much attention to it at that point. But over the next month, there were 3 other conversations like that, to where he said, there is something different about you. And again, I'm not trying to I bought a different brand of toothpaste. I don't tell people about that. But I finally answered his question. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I got this thing called Thrive. And so that was during the first month. In 6 weeks, so a couple of weeks later, people I work with started making those comments. And their comments were pretty similar, which makes me think they were probably talking to each other behind my back. But they would say things like, Carl, good for you. You lost the weight. We can see that. But that's not what they were impressed with. They said, you just seem so happy and so energetic. Your voice even sounds different. What are you doing? And so I would tell them, and people would say, well, how can I get some of that? I didn't know. I had to go to the person I got it from and say, how do I get that for a friend? And then, Tina, so everything I was doing with this supplement was selfishly. It was for me. And so I gave it to people because they asked for it. And then the feedback that I got from them, and I could tell you stories about people. One guy in particular called me the first day, and what he said happened to him brought tears to my eyes. And to be able to make that kind of difference for other people is addictive. And I wanted to hear that more and more. And so, yeah, you see me on social media now every day, shouting from the mountaintops. I don't care who you are, you got to try this. Because I want to hear that next person tell me what happened. So
right. It's been so interesting because over today and yesterday I've been recording the whole next season of this podcast. And so I've had several conversations about transformation and all of that in a short amount of time. And it's crazy how this theme comes up of, and it's not directly related to your story or what's happening, but like hurt people, transformed people, transform people. And so not even so much of a hurt thing, but like there's this space of when we take on ourselves and heal ourselves from the inside out. There's this moment where you go, wait, this is so amazing. I didn't know about this. Now I get to go out and help everybody else in the world do this because it's that amazing. And that was the experience that I was having with you. And so I was the same way, like I want some of that. And I currently am taking Thrive as well. And it's really amazing how it's changed mindset and just clarity and energy and all the stuff like that. And here's the thing, this isn't a podcast about selling Thrive, right? Like it's really about stepping into your leadership and finding tools that can support you to stand in your full leadership. So what are some of the results that you're seeing today that maybe you hadn't seen before because you are so on fire?
Well, for me personally, we're all on some kind of a path. And if we continue to going down the same path, everything intensifies, which means, so we're talking about, physicality. You either become more unfit, more unhappy, more lethargic. And when that happens, we talk about our bodies being a temple. Every material thing around us is a reflection of what's on the inside here. And when you're going down that dark, dirty road, your whole life turns dark. And when and it gets worse as you go along. But when you turn around and start going the other way and things start to get bright again, it gets brighter and brighter. So I went, in a period of, I would say 30 days. It's been 3 years now since this happened. So it's 30 to 45 days. I went from, so one of the things I do several mornings a week is get on my elliptical. And before Thrive, when I would get on my elliptical, after years of not doing anything, I could go about 2 minutes and wasn't really going that fast. And I just had to stop. I couldn't go any farther. And within about 4 to 6 weeks, I don't remember exactly, I was, so my intensity calls for, high intensity intervals. So I was going 20 minutes and doing an average of 5, and I forget now, it was like 5.13 minutes a mile for 20 minutes. And that was incredible. So that happened immediately. Long term, and again, going down that road, things are either getting better and better or worse and worse.
Exactly.
It's getting better and better. This last year, this third year, has been better than the second year, and that was better than the first. So my endurance has continued to increase. My stamina, my strength has continued to increase, and my confidence in the future. I had always, hoped and thought that I would live to be a very old man, but I really had no good reason to expect that. And now I do. My doctor, and this is not an official medical
Oh,
opinion.
yeah, it's in the results, right?
Well, it kind of tongue in cheek. My doctor said on one of the last visits that you are younger now than when I met you. And we talk about aging in reverse, and it sounds kind of like a cute thing, but it's a real thing. The effects of aging can be reversed with the right practices, and so to be able to do that and have a life that gets better and better is the way to live. And then, as I mentioned before, being able to bring that to somebody else, to have the light come on in somebody else's eyes. That's why we're on this planet, just to do that.
Exactly why we're on this planet. I love that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to talk ages, but you and I are probably about the same age, right? And I know I was unhealthy for so many years. And then all of a sudden, one day you find this tool that works, whatever that tool is for you, because there's so many out there. What do you think holds people back? Like you and I are talking and we found this thing and it works and it's great and it's turned everything around, but not everybody does that. New Year's is coming. New Year's resolutions by like the end of January, 80+% of them are no longer because people just bomb out on them. So why, when there's something that can make you feel so good, do you think people just choose not to?
Well, as you well know, we are all complex creatures, and I think if there is an answer to that, it's a very long one. But the things I've observed in just sharing Thrive with people, and then in my real career and working with salespeople to help them be better. I mean, some of the things that come up is people forget why it was important. And they let what they have to do, which in the short term is not rewarding, they let that get more of their attention than why they are doing it. One of the things I observe in either with thrivers or in the insurance business, people that excel pay very little attention to what it takes to get there because they're so focused on why they're doing it. So I think one thing is just forgetting, and the other thing is, procrastination is to a degree in all of us. There's always tomorrow. So people will say, oh, I'm going to do that tomorrow, and
they get stuck in the busy.
There's never been a day named tomorrow. It's always today.
Yep, exactly. I love that. That's amazing. I mean, what I heard you say is remembering your why. It goes back to like Simon Sinek. If anybody's listening and is like, yeah, that's Simon Sinek, right? Like, remember your why. When you get stuck, remember why you're doing it. Yeah. So when you don't want to get off the couch and exercise, remember why you're doing it. When you don't want to, do whatever, remember your why. I love that. What's been the hardest thing, Carl, about it all?
Oh, the hardest thing about it is like it's disappointing to see someone else give up on themselves. I've had people that have started Thrive with me that have had incredible. I had one person say that had focus issues that told me, I have got more focus now. This has only been a couple of days. I've got more focus than I have ever had in my adult life. He said, this is incredible. And about 2 months later, he just kind of quit doing it. I think he got satisfied. So probably the most disappointing thing, Tina, is to see people give up on themselves.
Right. I hear you. And here's the thing that I've learned, and it's probably been through a lot of sleepless nights, but I can be the best coach in the world. And if somebody doesn't wanna, I'm going to frustrate myself if I want it more than they do.
That's the other thing. Yeah. I'm a person that tends to fall in love with people's potential.
Yeah. Which is good. That makes you awesome.
Well, it also makes you fall in love with people that sometimes don't do anything.
Yeah.
But what I try to remind myself to do is to fall in love with people who take action instead of people that talk.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So the podcast is Your Leadership Legacy, right? So if we talk about your legacy and what you're leaving for a legacy, what does that look like, Carl? What's the intention around it?
Well, I always think about my grandson. So Cody's 27 years old. I've never known a better human than he. He may be one of the best people I've ever met in my life. He's got a heart of gold. He's honest. He's a hard worker. He's never late for work. But I wonder, times when I was his age, you could support a family of 4 on one income. Today, for kids that age, it's so difficult, and I worry about what the future will be like for him. The business I'm building outside of my insurance career is something that if he wants to, he can step into and make a lifetime that is really suited to him, a lifetime of making a difference for people. That is his thing. So sometimes if I feel discouraged or if I think it's too hard or the pain's not worth it, I think about why I'm doing it.
Remember your why.
It's the gratification for me right now, but also long term, it's his place in life if I do this right.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I understand that you have like a 3-day free packet thing that you you give away to people. So if you want to just talk a little bit about that and how people can get a hold of you, that would be amazing.
Sure. Yes. So, I mean, you can contact me. You can email me, Carl Ivey, CarlIvey 123 @gmail. You can text me at 530-484-7483 and just ask for a 3-day sample pack. And the purpose of the sample pack is primarily to show you how simple and easy and how good it is. People have gotten into programs that require something to be done all day long, and it interferes with your daily routine, and they don't. It's clunky. Thrive is simple and easy. It takes 2 minutes in the morning, and in those 3 days, I always, Tina, like to be sure people are clear. You're probably not going to change in 3 days, but I've shared Thrive with over 100 people. About half of those people in the first 3 days can tell that something is happening.
You'll feel it.
Yeah. But half of our bodies are all different. Some people take a week, some people take 2. But the 3 days, I would encourage anybody that's even got just a grain of interest. There's only one way to find out. When we talk about what thriving is like, I had a friend of mine about a year ago, and I asked him that question. So describe it to me. And he kind of thought for a minute, and he says, telling somebody what it's like to thrive is like explaining what it's like to fall in love. I could tell you about it, but you're not going to really get it until it happens to you.
Yeah.
So I'll just real quickly, and again, this is not a Thrive commercial, but energy, digestive, better digestion, better sleep, better mood, attitude, better mental focus. All of that is directly related to gut health, and Thrive is a superior quality gut health reformatter. So.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing for me about it all, Carl, and the reason why I am so into it is because it's natural. Like, it's natural. That's
Thank you for saying that.
Big point.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad you said that. You know, it was most of what we buy, even in the expensive vitamin stores, they're low grade, cosmetic grade nutrients, and that's because they have to be priced to be on a shelf. Thrive is all superior quality nutrients, which means it gets absorbed in your body, and it's all natural. There's nothing man-made, synthetic. There's no drugs or fillers. So it's all just natural goodness from plant-based.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Carl, thank you for taking time to be here on the podcast. I think you are an incredible man. I love your vulnerability. I love your stand in life. I love that you're supporting others to become their best self. And I love that you see the world through this amazing lens that's contagious. And I want you to know that and receive that, because when you show up, it gives other people the permission to show up as well. So I honor you for that. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Tim.
All right. Thanks, everyone. That's it. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Legacy. Bye. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our programs and events at trueuteams.com. And until next time, make it an amazing day.